Welcome to the March to a Million podcast with Greg DuPont, founder of the Wealth Solutions Network. In this podcast, Greg shares his journey to positively impact 1 million lives by creating an army of financially minded attorneys who embrace an expanded role in their clients' lives. Greg and his guests challenge the status quo in the legal profession and the financial services industry, and show attorneys how they can improve their lives, provide greater value to their clients, and experience greater professional satisfaction. Join us in this movement and strengthen your business by learning how to solve your clients' most pressing financial problems.
Hello and welcome to another Wealth Solutions Network March to a Million podcast. Now, today we're going to be diving more deeply into the 4D estate planning advantage. We've talked about this on other podcasts before, but we're going to take it to the next level. So, Greg, where do you want to start today?
For the people listening out there, most people think that estate planning is just about documents, don't they?
They do, yeah.
The truth is, documents are only the beginning. Estate planning done right is truly multidimensional, and that's what we have started to train the attorneys as a beginning point for their practice. That they need to look at this as a holistic endeavor and not just a act of a scrivener. So today we're going to walk into what that really means. The framework, which we call our 4D framework, why this is so important for the consumer as well as for the attorney, and how, again, as we've talked about from the beginning of this show, how much this is needed going forward.
It's so important as an attorney. I mean, just those big talking points that you talked about right at the top of the show there. The general public thinks that it's just about documents, but estate planning attorneys really need to fundamentally change how they're viewed within the marketplace. And the only way that you can do that is by using like a Wealth Solutions Network system. Is that a fair statement?
Yeah, or face irrelevance. Simple as that. I'm going to refer to the financial advisor, FA, kind of the leading industry rag for those of us in that business. As I was preparing for today's conversation, knowing where I want to go with this, it was serendipity, as it always is. This issue I finally pulled off and read, and there's so many things that resonate with what we're talking about here today that it really gives reason for people to stop and listen. So I make that comment about the attorneys facing irrelevance based upon fact, not theory. So first article in there. Maybe you can give some context to Commonwealth Financial Network. I'm sure you're familiar with them.
Oh, yeah.
They're huge, right?
They're a very, very large, what's called an independent broker dealer. They basically, so there's big differences between financial services. You've got the RIA, which is somebody who's fundamentally independent and holds a different license and is actually regulated by the SEC. And then you have broker dealers who are regulated by FINRA. Those are much larger organizations. And the reason why you join is for compliance, a lot of software and tech support, and some back office support.
Yeah, and so here's the signal of pending irrelevance. This article, this announcement. Commonwealth Financial Network has partnered with technology platform Wealth.com to provide its more than 2,300 financial advisors estate planning aid. Wealth.com, an end-to-end estate planning platform based in Tempe, Arizona, will provide technology that assists the Waltham Bass-based Commonwealth advisors and members of its advanced planning team in helping clients create their own estate planning documents.
Yeah.
Advisors will also have access to Wealth.com's artificial intelligence system, Esther, to extract information from estate plan documents and summarizes them. Previously, advisors had to take this task on manually. Mm-hmm. Wealth.com's technology is designed to provide better visualizations of estate planning, allow advisors to create a flowchart and an overall estate plan.
I'm going to editorialize here just for a minute because you just opened up a huge can of worms that I think your audience really needs to hear. Number one, the reason why advisors are running to Wealth.com is because estate planning attorneys have been absolutely terrible at providing referrals back to financial advisors who've been providing them with referrals for the documents forever. And number two, wealth.com is hugely funded, dude. They've got more money than they'll ever know what to do to spend. They're at every conference with huge booths wooing these advisors. And what I just said was the hook, brother. Listen, how many times have you given an estate planning attorney a referral and you never get any back? And every advisor's like, I never get referrals back from estate planning attorneys. So they're going to cut you out. That's that irrelevance thing that you're talking about.
Yeah, if your estate planning practice is heavily reliant upon referrals from wealth advisors, you will be gone in a matter of months.
Yep.
Don't count it in years, count it in months, right? And we know the practicalities of our business. Most estate plan attorneys are not good at getting leads, are not good rainmakers. They are good producers, good people, have an empath heart to deal with this stuff, but they don't generate a lot of business. And that's where Wealth Solutions Network, our approach comes in, and the 4D framework that we teach. As a highlight, let's just kind of summarize what those are. The 1D framework is basically documenting the estate plan, doing the base job the right way, right? Typically in a probate-related type of estate. A 2D is where we have document and defend. Not only are we creating documents that are appropriate for the estate plan engagement, but we're actively helping people in funding their trust so that their assets are defended from exposure to probate. 3D, document, defend, and discover. This is where we start stepping into the financial conversation, where the discovery is giving them that snapshot of where they are at this point in their life, having deeper conversations that find out more of what is driving them. And then if there is a connection, if there's resonance, if there is, more importantly, current earnest desire to take care of the problem, then we get into 4D, which is adding delivery of outcomes to the 3D. Okay, that is the full core engagement that we look for, the full core engagement that we are marketing towards, so that people come to us looking for essentially a family office solution. So Matt, I'm going to let you put some color on what a family office is and why that's so big. And I'm going to go back into another article.
So family offices are very, very important for the ultra high net worth and high net worth because they're pretty much a one-stop solution. And it's not just, managing assets and doing documents. They do a lot more. I mean, they basically can do bill pay. They help with budgeting. They have real estate connections, private connections for larger purchases, whether that's boats, planes, or yachts or cars or whatever. But they also are the family's advisor, which is what Greg and I have been talking about for a really long time. If you're going to be the attorney for the family or the advisor, or in this situation, both, you have to really take that family office model and really impart it into your practice because, by the way, the ultra high net worth and high net worth population is shrinking and shrinking because more and more wealth is being concentrated. But if you're able to go ahead and do this with the middle class millionaire, which is really what the ideal target market is for the majority of the listeners of this show, and if they feel like they're getting a family office environment or a service, changes everything.
So to put a little meat on those bones, because not just Matt and I talking here, again, this was in an article I just came across yesterday, multifamily offices surge in popularity. Mm-hmm. In the past 2 decades, the wealth management industry has seen a rise of multifamily offices offering a comprehensive range of services. More of these offices are emerging as wealth management grows increasingly complex, as clients demand more personalized service, and as the landscape of global financial markets change. Such offices have also increasingly captured the attention of ultra-high net worth families, et cetera, et cetera. As these families pursue more efficient custom solutions, multifamily offices look like an attractive alternative to traditional wealth management providers. We recently performed a study of 264 wealthy investors, and 70% said that they wanted the same advantages that single-family offices offered the super rich. Nearly 9 out of 10 wealthy individuals with a net worth greater than 30 million were strongly attracted to a family office model. 8 of 10 investors between 10 and 30 million said they were attracted to the model, while about 3 in 5 of those with 1 million to 10 million said they were. So how many of those people are coming in front of you as an estate planning attorney on a regular basis? And the 4D estate plan, where all this is coming together, is providing them that family office model. Going further, the best of the multifamily offices coordinate experts who may be either be part of the firm or part of a carefully curated network of specialists. Several things make these offices the preferred choice of ultra-wealthy families. One of that is wealth management. The ultra-rich has become increasingly complicated. These clients typically possess diversified portfolios. Many of them are involved in global businesses, etc. Managing this wealth demands investment expertise and knowledge of tax laws, estate planning, international regulations, succession planning. This is exactly what we are offering. But what we're doing is we're flipping the script. We're going from Commonwealth, as we started their conversation, that are trying to say, we are the advisors and we've built this family office that you can trust. Rather, we're saying, we're the estate planning strategist. We are the specialist. And we can do one thing that none of these people from the financial world can do. And that is not be a salesman. We proceed forward with our clients based upon the true fiduciary model, where we do nothing but seek to understand the truth of their situation, seek to understand the urgency of getting solutions. And then, just like putting a case together for trial, we do the 4D estate plan that identifies all these various disciplines, and then bring in the experts that we need. Your $10 to $5 million clients. This is where they are at. And I'll use an example of a client that I just had over the course of the last few weeks. A widow, mid-70s, got 2 kids, a couple $1 million, and was referred to me for a will. We started talking about what her concerns were. When she starts understanding how much of she's got RMD and how much additional income that's taking every year, and how, when we looked at sequence return risks, as we talked about in other shows, and how that could affect with her RMDs, she was very concerned. Not when we were done. We brought her that piece because we've understood the reality of her situation by following the 4D model, by asking additional questions. This article goes on to say about family offices, the rapid evolution of technology and the demographic change has a bright future for that model.
So where do you want to go from here with this 4D model?
I'm going to contrast that.
Okay.
We have a bright future with that, but when we first started our conversations on this, behind this microphone, before I had the cheap microphone that you just scolded me about last week, we talked about the opportunity that was there for the attorneys. It's taken a long time, a lot of work, and a lot of trial and error for us to get to the point where we have the 4D workflow that gives a structure for the attorney to feel like they can have these conversations comfortably and competently, to get past the mind trash about, I need to be the expert in this financial stuff, because that's all baloney. That's what we got DuPont for, getting better all the time, right? And there's all kinds of talk about AI in these articles as well. But I'm sure you're familiar with numbers of this nature, Matt. But this is the last article I'm going to refer to from Financial Advisors, July-August 2025 edition. You've heard the numbers. 38% of advisors with 42% of total industry assets are retiring in the next 10 years. The profession is going to be short about 100,000 advisors by 2034, according to McKinsey & Company. That's an annual study, isn't it? And it's been trending that way for a long time.
Long time.
And, as we've talked about, this is a gap already between the consumers getting the help they need, the guidance they need. But when we pull out that, and let's not even worry about the stagnation of relationships that are all sitting in there, right? How few are getting things like the family office that we just talked about. How few are getting that whole comprehensive services, although it's outlined in the study. How few people are getting tax planning services. How few are getting estate planning services. But the flip side here, why is this important, as they say in the article? Because fundamental consumer demand for advisor services is growing, and yet organic growth has somehow stalled. 55% of advisors consider new client acquisition a challenge, according to Cerulli, another survey. Part of this reason is the profession's consolidation and its creation of so many giant players. Growing at 10% is easier when you're at 200 million assets, but you're at 70 billion. It means a lot of growth is needed. So this industry is consolidated. And as you and I have talked sometimes on the show, but definitely just off camera, the fee compression in this industry, the consumers' understanding of fees and the lack of real value they're getting for it, the financial service industry is going to implode. And consumers still need guidance. So this is where the March to a Million, WSN, this podcast, my efforts, this team steps right into that breach, because consumers need this guidance. Technology is making it so that we can provide it. The 4D estate plan provides a structure for you to have these conversations. And when you look at your compensation for doing right by people, from where you are now to where you will be, it's transformative.
Here's the thing. If you're not providing people with this guidance and education, which we know from research, just based off those 3 articles, and then on top of all of the research you and I both do on a regular basis, they're going to find it somewhere else. They're either going to find it online through unqualified people giving them bad advice. And you really have a professional responsibility to be getting your voice out in the marketplace and telling people more and more about the 4D method, right? This is a game-changing opportunity for you so that you don't get left in the dust. And with that, Greg, let's wrap this puppy up and tell people where they need to go.
Yeah, you just mentioned something there that brings in another observation, another case from the last couple of weeks.
Okay.
It's an ongoing client of mine, estate planning that we did, it was 10 years ago, and it's now in the target zone, in pre-retirement. Had a internet-based run-of-the-mill annuity salesman, threw the bait out about Roth conversion. And before he bit, he said, "Hey, Greg, can you do something like this? What's this? And what are your thoughts on this?" And the strategy was common, using OPM, other people's money, right? We're going to get the bonuses from the annuity to offset the cost of conversion. I'm not saying it's a wrong strategy. I use it a lot in the right situations, but his was not. He was not somebody that was looking at having a significant tax issue, because his income and his cost of living were fairly closely aligned. He did not have a big buildup. What his problem was that he didn't have a lot of liquidity, did not have enough reserves. And so, using the same concept in a different way, I showed him through our 4D process, our income max process, that here's what your needs, here's where you are. And how about if we, instead of having other people's money go to pay Uncle Sam now, let's have it build up your reserves and compound for you so you have more flexibility down the road. And so that is the benefit that you bring to the conversation when you're not investing a tremendous amount of money trying to market and having the pressures of needing to close deals, because that's what the business does. You've got those pressures as an attorney, but you've already figured out how to do that. You're just now adding on to revenue. based upon conversations. And so when you think at it more appropriately for where we are now, if you look at your estate planning practice as not just being documents, it's defend it from probate and the cost of probate, discover where we are right now for our clients so they have guidance, because you are potentially that person that can come in at this point in their life and show them where they're being led astray by their current provider. Because their current provider is not, as we saw, doing a lot of what they needed to be doing. And then deliver a true fiduciary-based plan for them. So if you're a consumer watching or listening to this program, go to www.findwsn so that you can find an attorney that's trained in these approaches. And if you're an attorney that wants to be trained in these approaches, go to www.joinwsn and let's have a conversation.
Things are changing. A lot of you don't like that change. We all understand that change is scary, but it is necessary for you to be able to evolve within the changing landscape that all of you are now living in. And what Greg has built with the Wealth Solutions Network, and again, as he said, if you are just, a person who's listening to this who isn't an attorney or an advisor, you're starting to realize that this is the difference. This is actually what you're looking for. This is what you need in order to take the next steps in your life, having real conversations that cover all of your needs. And if you're an attorney, this is the future. Greg's the future. Wealth Solutions Network is the future. And you need to go to joinwsn.com to find out more about how you can truly change your practice. So for Greg, this is Matt Halloran, and we'll see you on the other side of the mic very soon.
Thank you for listening to the March to a Million podcast. Click the follow button to be notified when new episodes become available, and get in touch with our team by visiting our website at www.wealthsolutionsgroup.biz, or give us a call at 614-432-8065. The information covered and posted represents the views and opinions of the guest and does not necessarily represent the views or opinions of Wealth Solutions Network. The content has been made available for informational and educational purposes only. The content is not intended to be a substitute for professional investing advice. Always seek the advice from qualified financial service providers with any questions you may have.